Hey all, welcome to the next photography class lesson at Hummy's World. I welcome you to come and join all of the lessons from the beginning to the end. We're working on some lessons now on composure, and this lesson is to challenge you to take photos with a perspective from above. And this is my son and his friend, and we went out for a photo shoot years ago. These photos I've just drug out of my own photography stash in order to give you some samples of perspective from above. And we were on a walk down by the river, and I simply got up and stood on this wall over here on the left hand side in order to take this perspective from above. And it really made for one, the line from the wall grounded everything and kind of carried the image, but having the perspective from above really changed the whole composure of this image. And I tried in some of them having them look up to me, and then of course just looking straight ahead. And this one you can see is a more just a natural shot, kind of as if I'm, peeking in on their scene, kind of invading their presence a little bit. And this is the same wall, and you can see, well, the use of the line and putting the line on the rule of thirds. We did lines in the last lesson, but you can see how the perspective from above would be much better than if I took this, standing right next to them. Gives a whole new look. So my challenge for you is to stop and think about what you can climb up on, how you can get higher than your subjects. We're not always going to have a ladder or something to get above our subjects. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, but when you're out and about on a photo shoot, look for natural areas and places that you can get above. Of course, it was a little scary standing on that wall. I thought I was going to fall. It's not a very thick wall, but I did it. So here is another shot of these two, and of course down by the river. And you see I went ahead and I got above, and each step I took up these steps changed the whole composure of the image, the whole what was framed in the frame. I think it's called framing as well as it is composure. And so there again, look for those areas where you can climb and your subjects stay the same, but you move. And I just kept looking in my camera and taking steps up until I found something that I would work. And I think this line here of the wall and the diagonals actually works on this photo. And this is standing from the same spot I was here, only I zoomed in. And you can see it gives a whole lot different perspective than if I was down right there with them. And perspective from above. I don't know why, but I love taking photos straight down of my feet. Anytime you can take a photo straight down, it gives a whole new fun feel, as if you are actually there looking at your own feet. And there's another foot photo, same shoes. I actually did a digital scrapbooking layout of this, and I used the line here of the corner of the parking lot and carried it on up into my layout, and I thought it turned out pretty cool. I ended up doing a template based on the photo I took. So another perspective from above, and this is, I think, my husband's feet, playing miniature golf. And here, this, it's not quite on the rule of thirds. This probably could be cropped a little bit better, but the whole idea was to have the stick, the golf stick, on the rule of thirds. But yet it's still centered. This is kind of something I might clone out over here, but with the extension of his hand, it was necessary. So I was probably having difficulty getting it. I'm not sure that's my husband. That looks like it might be my son. I don't know. I must have reached around them and grabbed and snapped that photo, and they cooperated. But with this, you really gain perspective, as in larger in this foreground of the photo, and everything gets smaller to a point. So you really gain perspective with this kind of shot of depth and distance. And this is just a water bottle thrown on the ground. Sometimes I think I threw it on the ground so we could see all this perspiration on the bottle, because I thought that was cool. But anytime, this might be more effective if I would have done it straight down, and it's kind of a little bit of it at an angle, where I'm getting the bottom of the bottle. It might have been, but I bet you I was having trouble with standing over the image and then bringing a shadow over the image. So a lot of times, working with the sun and the light, trying it at a different time of day, you might be able to get that perspective from above a little bit better. Our dogs. I have trouble taking pictures of my dogs from above. I always want to kneel down and get on their level, but I have to remember sometimes and force myself to think, it's okay. This is natural. This is the way I normally see them. A lot of times is I'm towering above them. And so remember that you can always, it's okay. That it used to be, where everybody took photos like this from above, and they forgot to kneel down. And then photographers, and I'm talking years ago, like 40 years ago, and then the average Joe photographer always, would always take their photos just as they see it and not move their body and not move into position purposefully. But now I think it's more common, more knowledgeable, that people need to move their bodies and get into different positions and perspectives. And they try to kneel down more often, and they forget that it's okay to take photos like this too, just like you would see them in your natural setting. And here's an example of that. A young boy at Vacation Bible School I took a picture of. I don't even know who this is anymore. It was so many years ago. But I found it and I was like, I like that photo. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it really speaks to me, gives a lot of, makes me wonder what he's doing, gives me a lot of action. And it's taken from above. And again, I would have thought to, and I think I do have some others in this photo shoot series where I did get down and I took a picture straight on. But this from above gives a little bit more perspective with the way he's scooting down, squinching down. What's the word? I can't think of the word. So remember that you could take photos of children and people from above, and this would have been cute if I would have also, called his name out and had him look up at me, and it would have been given more perspective even. And taking pictures of composed objects. Here is a wine glass and some wine I stuck in a bucket of flowers. And remember that I tend to, and I actually did, I think, with this shot. I tend to want to get down on the level and take it straight forward of the bottle and the glass. I have a zillion photos that way. But for this one, I thought it'd be kind of cool to catch the ice in the bucket. And so I took the perspective from above rather than straight on. And here's another one, a little bit not straight above, but it's still above the glass. I have a lot of photos. I don't know why. I love taking pictures of quenching drinks in glasses. They're just so pretty. But this one, I cut off the bottom here of the glass, which I wish I would have had more of that down at the bottom. But remember, when you're taking pictures of still objects, get them from all angles, from above and from below and from straight on, and get home and decide which one you like the best. See, here's another one that I took from above. It's simply a shake that my husband and I decided to have at home, and I threw some fake leaves that we had out for decorations in the room at the bottom of it, and that's just my tablecloth down there. But you see, this perspective from above gives depth where the straw is larger at the top and gets smaller as it goes down. That is actually good perspective, and it's wider here than it is here, even though it's the same straw. And so this is wider at the top of the glass than you would normally feel it is, and it gets real narrow at the bottom. To give perspective and depth. So definitely try taking some photos from above. Here's a good one where I took a photo of our food straight from above. I just did not have problems with lighting and was able to stick or shadows. Sometimes when you stick it straight above, you have to worry about the shadow from your arm. But I just stuck my cell phone directly above the food that we were served. A lot of times, leaning down, getting a shot straight across. But for this case, straight above was best. I know, I think it's funny. I hear people complain that they hate seeing photos of food on Facebook, that everybody, look what I cooked, look what I just ate. In fact, I just heard that yesterday. But food photography is fun for a lot of people. Some people don't like it, and some people are inspired by it. This is a photo you can see of a purple coneflower and a bee taken looking straight down, because the black-eyed Susans are much smaller and they're below this purple coneflower. And so that I take lots of photos of flowers too, and it's so much fun to just move. The flowers don't move unless you pick them, but don't pick the flowers. And to move from different angles, go ahead and put your camera below, right on, just constantly move your camera until you see something more interesting in your frame. And of course, this, I also cut off part of the flower. It's always tempting to make sure you get the entire flower in your photo, but you see how effective it is not to do that, and to go ahead and crop it in a little closer. This is a selfie, and the reason I wanted to show you this is because when I'm taking selfies, I'm often holding the camera way up high in order, one, to get what's in the background. Here we wanted to show at this old-time restaurant we were at, the Pac-Man game, and the old-time cabinets in the background. And one, I hold it up high to get what's behind us, and two, whenever you hold up your camera high, it actually brings your chin up, and it eliminates that double chin. So that's a trick I use often, raising my camera as high as I can up above my head, to get rid of the double chin and to get what's in the background. Here is another photo. My husband's actually laying on my leg, but it's a perspective from above. We were laying on a slat outdoors. We had taken a hike and decided to stop and lay down. And I was like, I never stopped taking photos. And so I just took my camera, and this is my cell phone actually, and I couldn't even see what I was taking pictures of. You just hold it up and hold it, above us and at different angles to get that perspective from above, to get something different. I kind of thought that showed love. Not a real good photo here because it's kind of grainy, but anytime you can take pictures from above, like of staircases, you've seen some other professional photographers do some really cool ones. This was taken with a very old camera of mine. That's why, and it was dark in the house. That's why it's kind of grainy. But anyway, you get the idea of the entire staircase. Here we are on top of the arch. So whenever you are up high, think of taking photos straight down. You've probably seen this kind of photo of the arch before many times, in the arch in St. Louis, but I have been in hotels and you're up high on a floor, and think about looking out that window and taking a picture straight down. Anytime you are up high, think of taking a picture straight down. Or this is also taken from the arch. This is actually a cell phone photo, so you see it's not bad. And this is the new stadium. And you can't get this kind of image from inside the stadium. And another one from inside the arch. So if you don't have the ability to be up in a helicopter, like the professional photographers who make lots of money and can afford helicopter rides, think of things that you can climb up into and to get up high to take pictures. I mean, like I said, hotels are classic, or other touristy things. This is not perspective from above, but I wanted to show you the difference. This is, and it's actually a little crooked, the building. Could have straightened the photo, but this is a Clearwater Dam here in Missouri, and you can drive up to this and take a photo and have an amazing view, but the view from here was not very fantastic. So there was actually behind me a hill, and my husband kept telling me I was crazy nuts, especially since it said no trespassing. Shh. And I went up the hill to the very top of the hill, and I tried the picture again, and this is the picture I got. So don't just stay right where you are when you try to take pictures. Look for places and ways that you can raise yourself up so that you can get a whole different perspective of, from down here right next to it, it wasn't very good. And climbing the hill really made a difference. Yeah. So this is another instance where my husband and I like to hike a lot, and sometimes I will tell him to go ahead and walk on down the hill and in front of me, and I will stay above on the higher part to take a picture looking down. What's really great about this is you get this canopy effect above here. You get this perspective of height that's near you. And then you also, as if you have the person in the photo, it gives you like that depth of that comparison of size. If I would have taken this photo without him in it, these things wouldn't feel so large, and you wouldn't feel like the hugeness of the place where you're at when you're taking the photo. This is my granddaughter, and so I took a natural photo, and I was above her. This was on a little hill, a little slope, not a hill, but a little slope on the ground, and I went above her and looked down, and that allowed me to get the rushing water behind her, so I could get a more of a, I've got some with me kneeling too, but this was so much more effective. Being above her, looking down. Same here. This is my another son, and I am way above him. This is actually zoomed in, but this actually gave so much better perspective than if I would have tried to get right down beside him and take a shot right on. Of course, they're all going to be different, and each might be unique and great in its own way. Just try to get above your subjects. This is actually, I am way up on the hill here, and my husband is walking down this very, very steep hill, and I zoomed in, but you see the better perspective on this photo. And then here's the last one. Of course, I'm above the leaves and I'm above the river and looking down on it. So your challenge is to just get above your subjects and take a photo with perspective from above and share it with me. You can link it in the comments on YouTube. You can upload it to Flickr and link it on the blog. Just share your photos, and I look forward to seeing them.